Okay. Go get my lip balm. Hi, Fats and Tree. How y'all doing? I'm just getting started. I said I'm gonna show up. Hey, Chandra. How you doing? This is the first of you coming through here. I didn't know I go live over here. Had to go get my lip balm. I was waiting to see who all pop in tonight. Trying to commit to this going live every week. I said I'm gonna do it, so I'm gonna do it. You was waiting on my song. It's in my video from when I went to Antigua and Barbuda. Barbuda is what it's called. But no, it's in my travel video. It's actually the theme song to my intro. Oh, you subscribed, so it popped up. Well, good. Thank you for subscribing. But no, you have to watch that video to hear my song. Oh, thank you, Fats and Tree. Thank you. I'm glad I'm doing a good job. I'm trying to get used to this over here. So I'm glad I'm doing a good job trying to stay consistent so I can grow on this platform here. And I love coming to y'all lives too every week. And I'm trying to catch up on some of you guys' videos, but I see the videos pop up on for the members, but I haven't seen nothing new from y'all regular videos. I don't know if y'all have posted anything yet from your cruise, from your creators cruise. That's what I was looking for. Some of your videos from that. I was on there today searching. So I can't wait to see some of your footage from your cruise. Okay, coming soon. Okay. Can't wait to see them. And hopefully I can make one of you guys' group cruise. I know I do have one. I already have a cruise coming up for myself for 27. And I do have Chicago in 27 too with family. And then I have Alaska. This will be my first time doing an Alaska cruise. So I'm looking forward to that one. I know I have a couple of people coming along with me on that one. So this will be a first for me. So I've been trying to go and search up some people's Alaska sailings so I can check those out and see what it's going to kind of be like. And share some of that information with the people that are going to be traveling with me. But so hopefully I'll be able to get in on one of you guys, this group cruise. What month are you going to Alaska? I'm going to Alaska the end of July. And we're sailing on Princess Cruises. So, I've been trying to fill up some cabins. Get the cabins filled up. Hey, Jolia. Hey, I am here like I said I would be. I am here and I am live like I said I would be. I'm trying to stick to it. I was feeling a little tired today because we've been outside. I've been up early. I stayed up late last night and I got up early this morning and we were outside getting some things done. Julia said, I'm proud of you, sis. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with it. I was feeling a little sore in my shoulders, but I am doing okay. I am here. Okay, say that's a good time to go. Fats and Tree said that's a good time to go to Alaska. Okay. Okay, so that'll be great. Okay. Like I said, I never been, but I'm looking forward to it. And y'all have to excuse my hair. I'm in the process of taking down my braids, okay? It is past time to take them down, and I'm finally getting around to it, trying to get them all out. Hopefully tonight, if not, probably tomorrow. But I got to get these braids out. But yeah, so far I have a few people who have went ahead and booked for that cruise. So, and I decided Princess. They said Princess is pretty good for Alaska. They've been well known for the Alaska sailings. And I've been on Princess, so I like Princess. Fats and Tree say you look good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that compliment. And I look good. But yes, today I've been spending the rest of the evening pretty much trying to catch up on other people's content and get familiar with some of the other people that are subscribed to me and that I'm subscribed to. So I've been trying to work my way down the list. I don't want people to think that I'm not watching their stuff. I'll be working my way down the list. It takes me time because I like to actually watch the whole video. I don't like to fast forward people's stuff because I wouldn't want nobody to do that to me. So it's taking me some time. And thank you for that thumbs up, Fast and Tree. So working my way down the list. I don't know how other people keep up with all these subscribers. How do you keep up with watching other people's content? I don't know if I'm gonna have to have like set days of just going through, you know, for each person or something. I don't know. I've been writing down names and all. Julia said it's a lot. It is a lot. I got a notebook. I've been writing down names and notes. And even like days that people go live, you know, so I could try to catch their live. And if I can't, I know to go back and watch the replay. Then let them know I'm there. So just trying to spread the love and support around. So, yep. So it's been kind of different for me. Kind of different. But learning over here on the YouTube side. But the video I just put up, my Antigua video, I don't know why is it saying it's got some kind of flag on it, but I'm like, I don't have any copyright music in there that I know of. I pretty much muted, took the music out that was in the background from the resort or whatever, and I kind of actually went on this app and created my own music. One of my cousins was just in here asking about listening to my song, but you have to actually go to the video to hear my song. I made up my own song for my intro. My daughter actually put an intro together for me for my video, and I added a song to it from this app that I created on my own. So it has some lyrics in there that I made up. So I was hoping that, you know, that's not getting flagged, but I have to go back and see what the issue is. But I put the video up. I tried to do a premiere, but when I uploaded the first time to do the premiere, we were watching it live, and some of my clips were muted. So I had to actually take it down. So I had to stop it in the middle of the premiere, take it down, and go back and re-edit it, and I put it back up the next day. So it's up there if you want to check it out. I tried my best not to make it too long. But it is just a little over an hour. But, you know, it's somewhat of an interesting video to me. It is, you know. I got to learn a little bit about Antigua and the history of Antigua. So, and the people there, they're very knowledgeable about their island. You know, they know the history of it and everything. And they, you know, they love sharing. They love sharing about the history of their island. Julie said, that's okay. Yeah. But it's up now, so if you want to check it out, it's there. Then I got a lot of things I need to put up, and some videos I need to go back and edit, because before I knew how YouTube worked, I put up a lot of different videos that have music in the background, because I love music. I'm a music lover, so a lot of my old travel videos have music in them. But I said I'm gonna go back, and I probably do like a voiceover based on what I can remember. I've had a really great video from when me and my daughter went to New York. This was like years ago, but they flagged that one. I took my daughter for the first time when she was 13. I wanted to take her and let her experience New York. So we had a really great time when we went there. I went when I was young too. When I was probably in middle school, me and my daughter went for the first time to New York. We had an aunt living there. One of my great aunts was living there. And what she would normally do in the summertime, she'll come to the South and get some of the kids from the South and take them back with her up to New York so we could experience New York. And we would spend a couple of weeks there during the summer. She would do that a lot for over the years. She didn't have any children. So we enjoyed going and spending time with her back then when we were younger. And she would take us around, and we'd go shopping, and had a great time in New York back then. So I wanted to take my daughter and let her experience that too. And she had a really great time on that trip. The only thing, I just messed up on adding all that music to the video clips. So I'm going to go back and see if I can probably edit it or something. I'll have to probably screen record it off of YouTube because I no longer have those saved clips. But yeah, I do have a lot of different travel things that I can put up, and just regular whatever content, and some from when I was doing trucking over the road. I have quite a bit of that to share. I can move it over from my other channel and share it on the side. But today we had a little bit of a busy day. Like I said, I've been up early, but I said I'm still gonna get on and do this. Still gonna get on here and do this. And get some rest tomorrow. But I'm trying to make my way around. Trying to put it where I can see the comments. Okay, now there we go. And I didn't share out this live either. Let's see. And I do not know how to share it from this way. Just trying to see if I can share this out. Okay, thank you for still being there, Jolia. I'm trying to figure out how to share this out from this way. I'm used to doing it from my phone. I'm on my iPad. But I don't see the button to do that. But that's okay. Probably could share it from my phone. And I was going to do, I told Yolanda I was going to do travel trivia, but I changed my mind about that. I'll probably do it next week. I know you, because you go live from your phone too. No, I have my phone out, so I'm going to just share it from here. Just something different to do. Let's see. I don't know how I end up doing that. It shared a live highlight, but I just want to share the live, not the live highlight. Let's see. I'm sorry. Just trying to share this out. There it is. There it is. Looking for the button to share this. Okay. Some kind of way. Sorry. And I just got through cooking too. So I cooked some baked chicken tonight and some I baked us some normally I would fry the potatoes on the stove, but I decided to just cut them up and throw them in the oven and let them cook themselves. So I did us some baked potatoes and broccoli and baked chicken tonight. And we will have that tomorrow as well, because I'm not cooking tomorrow. Yes, I have been busy today. Busy and outside watching my daughter wash the dog, and plus we were outside cleaning out the trash cans and all that stuff today. And then I told you we have 2 cats here as well. So I was outside messing around with the cats too. And trying to prepare for Orlando, because that's my next trip is Orlando. I'm getting ready for that. Excuse me. Heading out to Orlando next month. I'll get to experience World Marriott. Supposed to be the biggest Marriott I guess, in the U.S. So I'm going to experience that as well next month. I haven't been to Orlando in a while. So I'm looking forward to that. Been trying to shop around for some items to take with me and everything, getting prepared for that. Hi, Yolanda. So you made it on over here. I'm surprised you're not getting any rest, as you've been up all day. Riding all day. And Yolanda said, hi, twin. Let me get to. And I don't know why I don't really like going live this way because I can't keep the comments up. Yep, so Yolanda, you must be on your break now. Yolanda said, hey, lovely, I had to come see you. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming to see me. Are you done driving for today? Oh, okay, you're at the Walmart. Yolanda said she stopped in at the Walmart. Okay, so you're at Walmart. Shopping around must be. I'm quite sure we'll probably see a clip about that tomorrow on what you find in Walmart. One thing different on this side, you can't play music, and I like music. And I wish I could play some background music on here. That's what okay. And Yolanda has the laughing emojis up, and she said, I'm not sure. I'm at the Walmart. Okay. Okay. But I didn't have a whole lot to talk about tonight because I already pretty much talked about my last trip on here. I shared before about me. I used to drive over the road. That was a little bit about myself. What we're talking about. Not a whole lot. I was just talking about my day, how I've been up all morning, and just some of the stuff that I did today. Besides watching you guys in between doing things and watching you guys today. I've been to a couple of lives today and catching up on other people's content today. That's how I've been spending the day. Yes, you, Jolia, yes, you got up way too early. So I didn't even know you were up that early doing a 3-hour live. Now, that's a long time to be live. But you did good to do a 3-hour live today. Yolanda asks, do you miss the road? Somewhat. Sometimes I do miss the road. Somewhat. Now, the last time I was out there, I was basically out in the Ohio area over the road. They kept having me going out in Shippensburg. I think it was Shippensburg, Pennsylvania, and out to Ohio, and back and forth out in that area. Somewhat I missed the road. I didn't like being out there when it was too cold. Jolia said, I don't think I'll do it again. She don't think she'll do a 3-hour live again. I know, right? But that was good, though. And I'm quite sure that helped your channel out, too. I know, yeah. Yolanda said, I know you're tired. Yeah, she has to be tired being up that. She was up early. Because usually she don't go live until 9 a.m. So. But you kept it going. You did good. I need to start doing like you do. Going to the beach and go live. And Yolanda said, you ran the east. That was hard. Yes. I was mostly on the east. Now, when I was with one company, when I first started out, I was on the West Coast, here and there quite a bit, from Texas up and, running from Texas to California. I did that quite a bit. Which I enjoyed it in the beginning. In the beginning when you first start, you're all hyped up over, because it's new to you. So you kind of hyped up and excited, and you like being out there. And then after doing that for a couple of years, then it's like, okay, all right, I'm tired of this now. So I did like a year, and then I was looking for something local. And then one company I was with in the beginning was giving me a hard time about getting me home for home time. And I had something I had to take care of with my daughter, and they were giving me the runaround about getting me home. So I had to leave that company because I didn't want to be out there like that, and I couldn't get home when I need to get home. Why did I leave? I left because, well, I have lupus. I was diagnosed with lupus right before I turned 41. It was right in between 40 and 41. And I actually hadn't been in trucking that long when I got diagnosed with lupus out of nowhere. I was actually getting ready to go back out on the road. Right before I was diagnosed, I was getting ready to start with the new company. I was going to be doing regional driving for this new company, which would have gotten me home every week. And I was, getting prepared to go get in the truck. And I saw these red dots just kept popping up on my skin, and like red bruises across my chest. At first, I thought it was from me moving everything out of the truck, because I had just moved my things out of one company truck and was, preparing to move into another one. So I thought, maybe it was from me lifting up the fridge or something. Maybe something rubbed against me. So I didn't, think nothing of it. And then later on, more red dots just started popping up on me. And I was like, well, before I go out of town to this new company, I need to go ahead and see what in the world is these red dots on me. So I went to urgent care to get checked out, and they did some lab work. But, when you go to urgent care, they can't tell you anything right away. So something said, go to the emergency room. So I went to the ER, and they did some lab work on me. And the next thing you know, I guess, once the lab work came back, they called my name and rushed me to the back. And that's when they came in the room and told me, I guess I can't remember exactly every detail, but the doctor came in and told me, you have petechiae. And I'm like, what the world is that? Never heard of that. And they were like, your platelet count is extremely low, like dangerously low, to the point where if I were to bleed, no one would have been able to stop it. If I was to bleed internally, no one would have been able to stop it. If I would have cut myself and bled out, the blood probably would not have stopped. They said I could have bled on my brain because my platelet count was just that low. There was nothing to clot my blood. It was not enough platelets to clot my blood. So the red dots came from my blood just running loosely. And then, I had to stay in the hospital and have, there were different doctors coming in, hematology, rheumatology. And then that's when they told me after a couple of days, you have lupus. They did run different tests, and it came back that I have lupus. They were scaring the heck out of me while I was in there, because I'm like, how y'all gonna, only thing going through my mind is, okay, give me what you need to give me and fix this. Hello, Mother Capricorn. I was just watching one of your videos earlier. Like, go ahead and, okay, give me what y'all got. Let's fix this and get me out of here. I got a new job. I got to go. But it wasn't one of them times. I had to stay put, and actually end up spending a month off. I was in and out of the hospital because of that, because I'm trying to get my platelets back up. With lupus, your immune system is basically attacking your body. So with them, they try to give me someone else's platelets, donated platelets, and my body would eat them up. They wouldn't hold up, and they tried that twice. So then they had to try something else to try to get my platelets back up. So they did like an infusion. So that worked for while I was in the hospital. It was able to get up to a certain level. They had to get up to a certain level in order to discharge me. And then they told me that I was going to basically be on infusions for the rest of my life. which that didn't happen. That didn't happen. You know, they wasn't for certain, you know, but all they could say is most likely it's going to be the rest of your life. But, you know, during outpatient, doing infusions, the infusions didn't hold up. My immune system didn't take to the infusions or whatever. The platelets would not stay up with the infusion, so they had to give me this little injection, and I forgot the name of that, but it was like a little dosage. They would give it to me every week at the infusion center, and it brought my platelets up. So later on in life, I was trying to go vegan, and that didn't work too well for me, but I tried, and I would do like fasting and all this different stuff, and then out of nowhere, my platelets start to go up on their own. So I went into the infusion center, which is the cancer center, where you have to go to get the infusions or whatever, the injections. I went in there, and, you know, they have to do lab work before they give you anything. And the nurse said, Miss Williams, she said, I cannot give you your injection this week. And I'm like, what's going on? What's wrong? Why you can't? And she was like, because your platelets are, they're above normal. They're above normal or average or whatever she told me. I actually saved the lab work from that. And ever since then, when I would go in every week, they said the same thing. And then after a while, the doctor was like, there's no need for you to go back up there anymore. She was like, every few months, we'll just keep checking your platelet count. Let's see. And I'm sorry, let me catch up. Julia said, oh, my Henry sent me a truck video and said to send it to Yolanda. LOL, I'm going to share it. Okay. And Yolanda said, okay. Yolanda said, wow. Mother Capricorn said, hello. How you doing, Mother Capricorn? And Yolanda speaking to Mother Capricorn. Okay. Mother Capricorn speaking to Yolanda. Yolanda, by the grace of God, you made it. Yes, yes, yes. By the grace of God, that was the only way. Yes. And that's the reason why my platelet count went up too. Because of God. Yes, and Mother Capricorn, the praising hands. Yes. Yes, and I haven't had any problems with my platelets ever since. You know, they still do lab work on them and no problems. You know, and like I said, with having lupus, it attacks different organs of your body, you know. So, you know, my platelets are fine. It stopped doing that. But I did end up having a heart attack. So I was still driving trucks. I went, you know, after the thing with the platelets, you know, while I was still going to get infusions, I was driving and everything was fine. I thought everything was fine. But I was working regional. And out of nowhere, I ended up having a minor heart attack. And this was right before I turned 43. And I think some of it was stress. I had just lost my dad, 2022. My daughter, the 22 was like a roller coaster year for us. My dad was battling cancer. He had been battling cancer for a while. He had T-cell lymphoma. So we were dealing with that. My daughter was getting ready to graduate. And this is something we've been looking forward to. My daughter's my only child and my parents' only grandchild. So, you know, we had been looking forward to her graduating. My dad, you know, this is his first grandchild, and he was excited about it too. But we kind of already knew that he wasn't going to be able to attend in person. So when I went to his house, we were already setting up for him to be able to watch it live when she graduates, you know, so he could still be a part of it. But he didn't make it to the graduation. He did live through the graduation, but a month later, my dad passed away. Well, a month and a half later, he passed away. He spent quite some time in the hospital, so it was kind of back and forth. Hi, Warm Strong Adventures. Thank you for coming on through here. Yolanda says stress ain't no joke. Yes, that's true. Stress is no joke at all. But yes, I think some of it was a part of the stress, and you know they did say some of it was due to the lupus. It will attack any part of your body, but they, you know, also told me after being diagnosed with lupus, you have to, you know, try to keep yourself from being stressed out. They stressed that a lot while I was in the hospital. Try to avoid stress. That was one main thing. Yes, and stress can cause a lot of issues with your body too. And even after having a heart attack, which I had a NSTEMI, which was a minor heart attack, the first thing the doctor said to me was, try to avoid stress. And Mother Capricorn is speaking to Warm Armstrong. She's saying good evening. But yes, you have to, yeah, stress is no joke. You have to try to avoid stress in your life, because it can be an aid to illness. It can cause illness in your body too. So every time they'll say, try to avoid stress. So, yep. But yes, so, but I've been doing okay. After that, after with my heart, I went through, rehab or whatever, get myself back together, went back to work. I was feeling okay. And then and did a trip with my daughter. We went to Puerto Rico. At that point, I'm like, we need a vacation. All this been going on. We need a vacation. And we went to Puerto Rico, had the time of our life. And I enjoyed Puerto Rico. I got to get back there too. Had the time of our life. We did the hiking and everything. And this was after, I had a heart attack. I went up into, they call it LUK rainforest. And it's beautiful. They have like these natural rocks you can slide down and everything. And we did that. And our tour guide was wonderful and fun. And we did that. And we walked, hiked up through the rainforest a little bit and everything. Had a great time. While later on I find out, okay, now the lupus is affecting my lungs. And so it was attacking my lungs. Because I couldn't understand, for a while, I was starting to have shortness of breath and felt like I was panicking, like I couldn't breathe, or thinking I'm about to faint or something, and I didn't know what was going on. And, after they ran some tests and all that stuff, found out later on that I am having issues with my lungs. So I do have now what they call shrinking lungs. So they've gotten that under control now, to bring it up to date now. They've gotten that under control, and I'm going to be doing infusions for that. So things have gotten better over time with that. I just thank God I don't have to be on any oxygen. Thank God for that. So I am breathing quite fine, based on what I see from the x-ray, which is kind of creepy to me looking at it. But I'm like, well, the good thing is I'm not on any oxygen. I can walk around and I can breathe naturally. I may get a little bit of shortness of breath, but I'm able to breathe. I can travel, which is one thing I love to do. I used to kind of worry about that. I remember when my cousin was getting ready to get married in Mexico, I kind of panicked a little bit because I didn't think about the fact that I have to fly. Am I supposed to be flying? And I went to the ER because I was just kind of panicky about it. And my doctor messaged the ER doctor and, told her I would basically be fine. I'm not having any problems with my oxygen level to that point. So, it's fine for me to fly. Thank God for that. I can fly wherever I want to fly to. And that's what I do. So, but I haven't been on any like extremely long flights yet. And I'm looking forward to doing some of those in the future, in the near future. Since I am better than what I was, I think I'm comfortable enough to do that, even though I probably have to spend a couple extra dollars on a seat that I can recline all the way back so I can be comfortable. But I'm looking forward to going on an exotic trip in the near future. I'm looking forward to that. I love cruising, but I do want to experience being able to, fly, take a long flight somewhere, and maybe do a cruise from there. I'm got Mediterranean cruise on my list. Okay, I want to experience that too. So looking forward to being able to do more and more things in the future. So, but, and I was going to the chat. I guess I got everybody quiet. But that's a little bit about me dealing with lupus. It's a little different for some of everybody. Some people have it worse than me. I'm in a support group. Sometimes I don't go into support group because, I don't want to hear the sad stuff. I like to hear the stories of people improving. And Yolanda said, thank you for sharing. You're welcome. You're welcome. Mother Capricorn, a great testimony. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So, yep, God is constantly healing me, you know, as things go on. Constantly healing me. Yeah. So that's a little bit about why I'm not out there doing any regional work or anything like that. But I am starting with a logistics company Monday here local. I'm ready to go back to work. I was already back working. I was doing the school bus, but I'm like, look, I ain't been dealing with people's children in a long time. I did it for the school year pass, but now I'm like, after the summer, I was like, I'm not going back. At Yolanda, you never know what a person is going through. Yes, that is true. A lot of times we don't look like what we're going through, and you don't really get to see it, you know. A lot of times we're just showing, you know, the good things that are going on. But, you know, when I can, I do share about it, you know, because some people, you know, finding, the more I've been on social media, the more I'm finding out some people, it takes them a long time before they notice that, you know, they have lupus. You know, I would have never thought it was lupus for me. Mine's happened all of a suddenly. Some people have some of the symptoms and, you know, they don't know that they have it. Or some people just, they won't even go get checked out to know if any, you know, what's going on with them. I can say for me, a couple of years prior to me being diagnosed with it, there were little things going on that I kind of avoided. But I did go to the doctor. I had these blisters, and I'm just now finding out a couple of years ago that was actually symptoms of the lupus. From my support group, I found that out because I was like, oh, so that's what that was. But I actually went to the doctor. I had blisters on my scalp, and I didn't know what they were coming from, and I had this fever and everything. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, you know, it may be something I'm allergic to or something. It, you know, it was primary care that I went to. And it didn't go no further than that, you know. They give you a prescription, that was it. And then eventually it went away. But then after being diagnosed and then a year later being in a support group and hearing different stories from people, that's when I noticed, okay, that happened to me too. So that's what that was. So I was actually having a flare and didn't know it. So when we have flares, we have fevers, we get like flu-like symptoms. A flare could be like in your scalp. Your scalp can inflame up. You can get inflammation in your scalp, and I was get these blisters on my scalp. And it actually happened to me when I first moved here to South Carolina. I actually moved from Georgia to South Carolina after being, you know, sick so much to where I needed some downtime. I needed a break. I could not work like I was working. I had to actually give it up. One of my doctors was basically in tears, like, you gotta stop. You got to stop before something else happens. So I actually stopped, and I moved up here. Well, over here, I guess you can say up here from Georgia, with my mom. So we've been here a couple of years. So I'm kind of starting over in life, I guess you can say. So, you know, Mother Capricorn said I would have thought it was shingles. Yeah, I didn't really know what it was. It felt very sore. I know that. And I could barely comb my hair. It hurt to wash it. It hurt to comb it. And one of the doctors actually said, well, maybe it's your wig. Maybe it might be coming from your wig. You might be allergic to whatever they used to make the wig with or something, the doctor said. Well, you know, I took whatever prescription they gave me. Took some time off work or whatever, got some rest, and then it just went away. So, and I never thought anything of it again until, like I said, after a while after being diagnosed with lupus. But that was actually one of the symptoms of that. And then, like I said, it happened again in 24. I had a real bad flare-up. I never really had a bad flare-up with my skin, but in 2024, when I moved to South Carolina, because of the change of the environment, it's more humid here. So it's like my body went into a shock dealing with the temperature here. Wasn't used to it, to the humidity here. So I was barely going outside because I couldn't handle it. But my skin, I start to get like what we call the, they call it the butterfly rash. It's where we get a rash in the shape of a butterfly across our face. And if you ever look up lupus, that's like the first thing that pops up about lupus, even though we experience more than that. But this was my first time actually, 24 was my first time breaking out all across my face. And if you see here, this light color, that's from that. It never, I never got my color back up here. But I had like blisters all over my scalp from that. I had inflammation on my scalp. So I had blisters, my hair fall out. This was actually my first time getting braids after 2 years. I usually wear braids a lot. I love to get my hair braided, but I couldn't because it had, it was falling out. So I was actually able, after 2 years, this was the first time I was able to get braids right before going on my trip. So I was excited about that when the lady told me, oh yeah, I can braid your hair. My hair started to grow back in because it really fell out real bad in clumps. I was losing a lot of hair. One of my cousins actually, she cut it off for me to kind of give it a little shape. She told me, why don't you just go bald? I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna look walking around here bald. I barely got any eyebrows because that happened too. I used to have thick, bushy eyebrows too. Prior to getting them waxed. Don't never get that threaded. Don't get your eyebrows threaded. It's like after I got them threaded, they thin out. But now they just, they fell out from when I had the rash and everything. So, yeah. So I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to look walking around here with absolutely no hair. I'm not, she even said she would go bald with me. But I'm like, I don't think even though I am not my hair. But I'm not about to walk around bald like that. I couldn't do it. But she cut it down really low and it looked cute or whatever. And I dyed it some kind of blondish something color. But it looked cute. But let me go back to you. Okay. I was checking to make sure see if anybody said anything. But yep, so that's a little bit of my life with lupus, dealing with lupus. And I try to do some healthy things. It's not easy to stick with it all the time, but I do the best that I can. Sometimes you're going to crave things. You're not going to always eat the right things. I just, moderation is the key. So if I get a taste for something, I'm not going to keep myself from eating it. I'm not going to like indulge in it, but I'll eat, give myself a little treat here and there. And Yolanda said, just keep on pushing, love. Yes, that's what I do. I keep on pushing. I keep on pushing. But I do try, different things from juicing. I still do some juicing, different vitamins, and, just different stuff. And, of course, I stay on top of my appointments. That is very, very important. Some people don't. And some of them, their situation ends up changing, and they end up suffering even more. One thing I do, I wouldn't say I'm fearful. I try not to live my life in fear, but one thing I do think about, because it's like a major thing with lupus, is it attacking the kidneys. And you'll hear about a lot of people that go through that. And what I'm finding out when I go to we do have meetings with Lupus Foundation, a lot of them, their stories are, I wasn't taking my meds. I wasn't going to appointments. I wasn't eating the right things. I was just doing whatever. And the main thing is taking your meds, going to your appointments, getting those lab works done. I look at my lab work like it's money, like it's a bank account. I got to make sure I'm on top of my lab work. Because, at any moment it can attack your kidneys. Some medications can cause you to have damage with your kidneys. You not taking the medication can cause it to affect your kidneys. And I do not want to be on no dialysis. I was a dialysis technician. I refuse to be on dialysis. So every time I go to the doctor, I'm like, you going to do that? You going to ask for that kidney panel today? You going to put in from a kidney panel? I be wanting to know. I don't want them to tell me later on when it look like it's getting close to something wrong. I always ask a lot of questions. And I always ask for them to Hey, you gonna get that kidney panel? Because that's my main concern. Yolanda said juicing works well. Sorry. Juicing works well for the body. Yes, it does. It really does. And it helps you feel a little better too. Especially when you're cutting back on certain things like the sugars, the fried foods. You feel a little different. You have more energy when you're cutting back, and when you replace some of those meals with like smoothies and juices, you feel a little better. Yeah. So yes, juicing does help, along with a few other things too, as far as getting up and just moving around, moving your body around and stuff. But me, I'm not too big on medication, because they'll try to give you pills for everything, and a lot of times I tell them, certain things I'm not going to take that. They're big on giving you medication for just about any and every little thing. They're always trying to switch up your meds. If it's something that they give me and I don't feel right about it, I tell them, you know what, I've been stopped taking that. And then I tell them why. And I try to stick with the juice, and then eating a lot of dark green vegetables helps too. Getting in those greens really do help. And then if you don't like to eat the greens, you can always juice them or put them in a smoothie. But I just eat them. I don't have a problem with eating like kale. I like eating kale. I can eat kale cooked, and I can eat it raw. And spinach. I can eat spinach for breakfast and dinner. So I'm a spinach person. So I don't mind eating those dark green vegetables. So yep, that's a little bit about my story so far. At Julia says, sis, still here. I know you are. And Yolanda, yes, veggies. Yep, veggies. You got to get those veggies in. It's very important, especially 40 and up. You want to eat those veggies. At Mother Capricorn, definitely veggies. Yep. And drinking water. And drinking your water, staying hydrated. Definitely. But I'm glad I didn't have to go in the hospital. Most times we'll end up in the hospital because of something, but I didn't have any flares to the point where I had to be in the hospital this year. Even if you gotta go to sleep, you go ahead and go to sleep. At Jolia, you've been up all day. You had a busy day today. At Yolanda, water, yes ma'am. Yes, definitely water. And Julia said, I'm just glad you're here, so I'm hanging in. And that's cool. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the support that you show. She's been here at every live and hang out with me all the way through. Every time. But it'll get, it's going to get better as I continue on getting on here. As long as I remain consistent, I'll get more and more comfortable coming on here. I should have went live while I was on vacation, but I didn't. I was so busy, and then once I got back to the room, it's like, shh, I'm about to lay down. At Julia said it will for sure. At Mother Capricorn said, what inspiration your travel? May I ask? Yes. You can ask. What inspired your travel? May I ask? I'm not sure. I always kind of been into traveling. Julia said, I know you're good because Yolanda's in here. But I've always, what inspired it, I guess when I was in high school. And I always share this story. We did a grad trip when I was getting ready to graduate. Well, right before we graduated, we did a grad trip, 12th grade year. Disney used to have grad night. I'm not sure if they still do that in Florida, grad night at Disney World. But one of my teachers, she planned out this whole trip for us. I was on the student council, so we would meet up after school, and we were a part of helping plan it. And I just got into travel ever since then. She actually passed out these itineraries to us, and it told us everything that we were going to be doing day by day. She had like the time on there and everything, and I was just impressed by it. And I held on to that. I still have it to this day. And I was like, I want to put something like this together for my family. So ever since then, I was kind of into it, and then I started planning trips for my family, and then people that I work with, will tell them a little bit about where to stay or give them a little information on this or where to get tickets and stuff like that. Friends, I would, share different, itineraries with them and stuff like that back then. And I just was really into it. And actually, in my 20s, my mom, because she noticed that I was doing it, planning travel quite a bit. She was like, you need to do something like that. Find some work that you can do doing that, planning travel, which was, she was basically saying be a travel agent. And I said, well, I did look into that before. But when I looked into it, you had to go to school at the time. That's what I thought. You had to go to school or whatever. And it was kind of pricey. I didn't have the money to pay for that at the time. I was young. I was in my 20s and had my daughter and everything. And I was like, I don't know if I could go back to school for that. But I didn't go back to school for it. Fast forward some years later, a friend of mine, she actually became a travel agent, and she told me how she did it. And ever since then, I've been doing it. But I've been into it before doing that. I always been into it. I actually talked my friends into going to Jamaica. Was my first international trip with two of my friends. I talked them into going. I had kept talking about it for a while, and I found this lady who had a storefront agency, and I just walked in, and I was like, how much is it to go to Jamaica? And she set me down and talked to me about it and showed me different packages. And I'm like, you get all, you can, for that price, I can do all of that, And she explained to me, and then I didn't think about it at the time to ask the lady, how could I do this in life? But I wasn't thinking about it like that then. And I wasn't for certain if she would tell me anyway. But actually ended up using her twice to go to Jamaica. But so that was my first international trip. My first all-inclusive too. It's going to Jamaica. So but I have been inspired for a while. And that's what inspired me from high school. And now it's like it's just something I look forward to. Even, with being ill, I don't really get depressed. I have something to look forward to. I'm always thinking about doing something. And then it's a great way to spend time with your family. I try to get my family into traveling more. At least trying to get together once a year or something like that and doing something together. That stays on my mind quite a bit. So that's just something that I'm just into, and it lifts my spirit, and I get excited anytime I'm talking about a trip. I get excited about when people call me to book travel. When they call me and I'm on the phone with them, I'm getting excited about their trip, and I'm not even going, but I plan it out like I'm going, like I'm there, like I could just see the destination. So but yeah, I love it. I love it, and that's just something I'm really into. Actually loved it more than trucking. I think the thing I loved about trucking was that I could wake up in a different state every day and see something different every day. Sometimes some of the same things, but it was just the excitement of just being out there on the road, and I'm able to be in a different city and just see something different every day. And I got a few more minutes, and then I am going to get off of here. That will be my hour. But yeah, and I enjoy being out there on the road too. I was excited when I got into trucking. I was excited. trucking, learning to drive the truck was like really not, it wasn't challenging for me because I was already driving buses. You know, I was afraid to start driving buses. Somebody actually talked me into getting on a bus. I was an aide on the school bus. And, you know, I only did that because I had my daughter. And my mom was like, do that so I can be home more with my daughter. But the lady, one of the drivers that I was on the bus with, she would always tell me, you driving that big old Suburban, girl? You better come on and learn how to drive this bus. If you could drive that Suburban, you can drive this bus. And one of the supervisors would always come and ask me, when you going to go to class? When you going to learn to drive the bus? And then I finally went on ahead and did it. I went on ahead and went to the class and got my CDL and drove the bus, and then went from the school bus to the coach bus, and then went from the coach bus to the truck. So, hey, I could do it. I think I could drive just about anything. Thought about trying to fly a plane. And Mother Capricorn. Grad Bash, yes. Yes, they used to have that in Florida. I don't know if they still do it at Disney World. Grad night. I know when we were there, they would have like, different performers come in, different artists come in. I think the Backstreet Boys were there when we were there during that time. Backstreet Boys, if y'all remember the Backstreet Boys. I still have their autograph. Our class president actually went backstage and he got the autograph for me. But we had a ball when we went to grad night, Disney World. And what is it's something they do at night. We had went to different parks in Florida. We went to Universal Studios. We went to what was that water park? Was it Wet and Wild? We went to the water park there. She had a nice itinerary planned out for us. Different restaurants. And then went to Disney World at night. And they had like different concerts going on in different areas. We got on the rides and everything. We had a blast. We had a blast during grad night. And to think that we at that time, I was living in Augusta, Georgia. But we rode from Augusta on a school bus all the way to Florida. At Yolanda said, yes, I remember the Backstreet Boys. Yes, I still have their autograph. My class president, I told him, I said, you get backstage? I said, you better bring me back an autograph. He got backstage. He found some, I don't know who. It was a group called, it was a girl group. I don't know if it was Allure or somebody. But they asked him to come backstage. And that's how he got back there. And he got me the autograph from the Backstreet Boys. So we had a blast that night. We had a blast. That whole trip was fun. And Mother Capricorn said, I'm from Georgia. I attended Payne. Oh, you went to Payne College. That's in Augusta. Payne College. That is in Augusta. Yeah, I lived in Augusta because my dad was military. I think I shared that before. So we lived there for a few years. And then once I became an adult, I left. Yep, Augusta, Georgia. That's the home of the Masters. Yep. So it is 10 o'clock, and I thank y'all for joining in on this live with me tonight. I hope everybody hit the like button on the way coming on up through here. And I will be back on here again next Saturday at the same time. Alexa, stop. I will be back on here next Saturday at the same time again. And of course, I'm going to continue to put up more content too, once I get done editing. At Jolia, okay, with the hearts. Thank you for sticking around. Get you some rest. But all right, I'll catch you guys later. At Yolanda, have a wonderful weekend, everyone. All right, catch y'all later.